I remember you. I remember you before the years etched lines upon your face and before the weight of responsibility bent your shoulders. I remember when your heart was softer, when your belief flowed freely, when trusting me did not feel like a risk, but like breathing. Do not think for a moment that time has erased you from my memory. I knew you when your voice was strong with hope, when your prayers rose without hesitation, when you believed I listened because you had no reason to doubt it. That faith was real. It mattered. It still lives within you, even if you think it has faded. I watched you in those early days when you spoke my name without fear or embarrassment. You did not yet carry the scars of betrayal or the disappointment of unanswered expectations. You believed goodness would prevail because you believed in me. I saw you sing words you barely understood but deeply trusted. You spoke of love as if it were a certainty, not a question. That was not foolishness. That was purity of heart. And I want you to know something very important now. Nothing about that faith was wasted. Not a single prayer, not a single tear, not a single act of devotion disappeared into nothingness. Then life began to teach you hard lessons. You grew older, and the world showed you its sharp edges. People you trusted failed you. Some left. Some wounded you deeply. Others promised love and delivered indifference. You learned that effort does not always guarantee reward, and that doing the right thing does not always protect you from pain. Slowly, quietly, your faith changed. It did not vanish all at once. It weakened through fatigue, through repeated disappointment, through long seasons where you felt unheard. You did not stop believing in me because you wanted to. You stopped believing because believing became painful. I understand that. I never condemned you for it. I watched you wrestle with questions you never voiced out loud. I saw you compare your sacrifices to your outcomes and wonder if I had turned away. I heard the prayers you no longer prayed, the songs you no longer sang, the scriptures you once cherished but could no longer read without remembering what you lost. You told yourself you were being realistic, that faith was for the young, the naive, the untested. But hear me now. Wisdom does not require unbelief. Experience does not disqualify trust. Age does not diminish my presence in your life. You believed once with your whole heart. That tells me something about who you truly are. Faith is not learned by accident. It is recognized by the soul. The reason you believed so deeply is because you were responding to my voice, even if you did not know how to name it then. And the reason that loss hurt you so much is because your heart was never meant to live without hope. You tried to replace it with self-reliance, with control, with lowered expectations. You told yourself you no longer needed miracles, only stability. But deep inside, something still aches. That ache is not weakness. It is memory. I remember how you used to speak about goodness with certainty. You believed love would last. You believed faith could carry you through anything. You believed I was close. And even when you stopped saying those words out loud, I remained just as close as I had always been. Distance was never created by me. It was created by hurt. It was created by unanswered questions that piled up year after year. It was created by exhaustion, not rebellion. And I am not offended by your weariness. I am moved by it. You may think too much time has passed, that you are no longer the kind of person who believes easily. You may tell yourself that returning to me would feel dishonest, that you do not have the same fire, the same certainty, the same innocence. But I am not asking you to be who you were. I am asking you to remember that you once trusted me, and that trust is still possible in a deeper, stronger form. The faith of your youth was beautiful, but the faith of maturity can be unshakable if you allow it to be reborn. I remember your prayers when you had little but hope. I remember how you leaned on me before you learned to lean on yourself. I remember when you believed I could do anything because you had not yet encountered so many things that seemed impossible. Those moments are not lost. They are part of your foundation. Even now when you feel skeptical, even when doubt rises faster than hope, that foundation still holds you. You are not starting from nothing. You are returning to something that already belongs to you. Do not be ashamed that your faith changed shape. Do not accuse yourself of failure because belief became complicated. Faith that survives disappointment is stronger than faith that has never been tested. You did not abandon me. You endured more than you knew how to carry. And I have waited patiently, not with anger, not with judgment, but with open hands. I do not demand that you feel what you once felt. I ask only that you listen again. I am speaking to you now because the season of remembering has come. Not to reopen wounds, but to heal them. Not to scold you for drifting, but to remind you who you are. You were never created to live without me, and I was never meant to be a chapter you closed. I am the same God you trusted long ago. My love has not aged. My power has not weakened. My patience has not run out. And the faith you think you lost is not gone. It has been waiting, quietly, for you to look up again. Listen to me carefully. I remember the faith you once had because I planted it. And what I plant, I am faithful to restore. When you are ready, I will awaken it gently, honestly, without pretense. You do not need to pretend you are young again. You only need to be willing to believe that I am still here, still speaking, still loving you just as deeply as I always have. Listen to me closely, because this is where many hearts turn away, and I do not want yours to do the same. I know your pain. I do not know it from a distance or through reports or theories. I know it because I was present when it happened. I was there when the phone call came, when the diagnosis was spoken, when the goodbye was final, when the betrayal revealed itself. I was there when you sat alone and tried to understand how life could change so suddenly. Your pain did not escape my attention, and it did not diminish your worth in my eyes. You have told yourself quietly and repeatedly that something must be wrong with you. You have wondered if your suffering is evidence of failure, of poor choices, of weak faith. You have asked whether you missed something, whether you disappointed me, whether you somehow stepped outside my care. Hear me now and let these lies fall away. Your pain has not disqualified you. It has not removed you from my love. It has not canceled your purpose. It has not surprised me, and it has not defeated my plans for you. You live in a world that measures value by strength, success, and resilience. You were taught to push through, to remain composed, to hide what hurts. So you learn to carry your pain privately, to minimize it, to explain it away. You told yourself others had it worse. You told yourself to be grateful and move on. But unacknowledged pain does not disappear. It settles deep within the soul, shaping how you see yourself, how you trust others, and how you relate to me. I have watched you grow cautious, guarded, slower to hope. I have watched you protect yourself by expecting less. And I understand why you did. You have lost things you cannot replace. Time, health, relationships, dreams that once felt certain. Some losses came suddenly, others gradually, eroding joy day by day. You prayed for healing and watched decline instead. You prayed for restoration and learned to accept absence. You prayed for change and were forced to endure. That kind of pain teaches the heart to doubt. Not because the heart is rebellious, but because it is tired. And I have never despised a tired heart. You may believe that your pain has made you unsuitable for my work, that you are too broken, too fragile, too cynical to be used by me again. You may believe that faith belongs to those whose lives turned out well, not to those who carry regrets and scars. But look at how I have always worked. I do not choose the unmarked. I choose those who have endured. I do not draw near to those who have never fallen, but to those who know what it is to rise slowly, painfully, and honestly. Your pain has taught you compassion. It has taught you patience. It has taught you how fragile life is and how precious people are. These lessons were not given lightly, and they were not given in vain. You see the world differently now, not because you are bitter, but because you are awake. You notice suffering in others because you recognize it. You understand grief because you have lived with it. You understand disappointment because you have carried it. These things do not disqualify you. They equip you. I know there are days when your body itself feels like a reminder of loss. Strength that once came easily now requires effort. Energy must be rationed. Pain lingers longer. You may look in the mirror and barely recognize the person staring back. You may feel betrayed by your own flesh. But even here, even in limitation, I am present. I am not only the God of youth and vigor. I am the God of endurance, of steady breathing, of quiet perseverance. I walk with you at this pace. I do not rush you. You have asked why I did not intervene sooner, why I allowed things to go so far, why relief did not come when you begged for it. These are not forbidden questions. They are human ones. I am not offended by them. But understand this. My silence was not absence, and my delay was not rejection. There are things I have protected you from that you will never know. There are outcomes I prevented quietly, without announcement. There are lessons that could only be learned in the waiting. And there is strength in you now that did not exist before because pain, though cruel, has also been a teacher. You did not imagine the weight of what you carried. It was heavy. It still is. Some wounds heal slowly. Others leave permanent marks. I do not ask you to pretend otherwise. I ask you to stop interpreting your pain as punishment. I ask you to stop seeing your suffering as proof that you are less loved or less chosen. I ask you to stop measuring your worth by what you have lost. You are not a mistake because life hurt you. You are not behind because healing took time. You are not forgotten because relief did not arrive on your schedule. I am still writing your story. Pain did not end it. Disappointment did not erase it. Loss did not invalidate it. You are still here because I am not finished. There is still meaning in your days, still purpose in your presence, still value in your voice. You may no longer shout your faith, but you live it quietly through endurance. You may no longer run, but you walk steadily. You may no longer dream wildly, but you hope honestly. These things matter deeply to me. Let me say this clearly so it settles in your heart. I do not require you to be unscarred. I require you to be willing. Willing to trust me with what hurts. Willing to stop hiding your pain from me. Willing to believe that I can still bring beauty from what feels ruined. You do not need to prove your faith. You need only to bring me your truth. I can work with honesty. I can heal what is real. Your pain has not disqualified you. It has brought you to a place where shallow faith cannot survive, but deep faith can grow. And when you are ready, I will show you how even this chapter, the one you never wanted, is being woven into something meaningful. Stay with me. Do not turn away now. What comes next requires the wisdom only pain could have given you. Listen to me now, because this is where your exhaustion has deepened and where your freedom will begin. I have watched you search. I have watched you exhaust yourself chasing answers, solutions, assurances, and relief in every direction except the one that leads upward. You have tried to reason your way out of pain. You have tried to plan your way into peace. You have tried to fix what feels broken by gathering advice, strategies, opinions, and distractions. And still, here you are, tired in ways sleep cannot fix. I do not say this to shame you. I say it to awaken you. You were never meant to carry the weight of your life alone. Yet over time, you learned to depend on your own understanding because trusting me felt uncertain. You told yourself that faith should be practical, that relying on me was risky, that wisdom meant controlling outcomes as much as possible. So you searched for certainty in people, in systems, in routines, in careful planning. You knocked on doors again and again, hoping one would finally open and give you rest. But when every door led to another hallway of effort, you concluded that peace must be something earned through persistence rather than received through trust. I see how hard you have tried. I see the mental strain of constant calculation, the emotional toll of repeated disappointment, the quiet fear that if you stop striving, everything will fall apart. You believe vigilance is what keeps you safe. You believe worrying is responsible. You believe rest must wait until everything is resolved. But hear me clearly. Striving has not brought you peace. Worrying has not protected you. Constant effort has not healed your soul. It has only kept you tired. The answer you are looking for is not hidden in another plan, another conversation, another adjustment. It is not waiting at the end of your next attempt. The answer is found in me. I am not one option among many. I am the source you were meant to return to when all other sources fail. I am not offended that you searched elsewhere first. I am inviting you now to stop searching outward and begin looking upward. You have mistaken control for security. You have mistaken activity for progress. You have mistaken information for wisdom. But wisdom begins with trust, not mastery. Peace begins with surrender, not certainty. You do not need to understand everything to be safe in my care. You need only to stay close to me. When you insist on understanding before trusting, you reverse the order that faith requires. Faith does not follow clarity. Clarity follows faith. I know you have said, if I could just see a sign, I would believe. But belief is not born from signs. Signs are born from belief. I know you have said, if I could just solve this one thing, I could finally rest. But rest does not come after resolution. Resolution flows from rest. I know you have said, I will trust once I know how this turns out. But trust that waits for outcomes is not trust at all. It is negotiation. And I am not asking you to negotiate with me. I am asking you to lean on me. There are things happening right now that you cannot see. There are movements being set in place beyond your awareness. Conversations are unfolding. Paths are being cleared. Obstacles are being removed quietly, without announcement. You are unaware of these things not because they are not happening, but because they are happening outside your control. And that is precisely where I do my best work. If you could see everything, you would try to manage it. If you could understand everything, you would interfere. Sometimes my greatest mercy is working invisibly. You have been watching the surface of your life and concluding that nothing is changing. But roots grow in darkness before fruit appears in light. Just because you cannot see progress does not mean progress is not occurring. Just because you feel stuck does not mean you are abandoned. Stillness is not absence. Waiting is not wasting time. There are seasons when the most important work is internal, where trust is strengthened, where dependence is relearned, where pride quietly loosens its grip. I need you to stop trying to carry tomorrow with today's strength. I need you to stop rehearsing fears that may never come true. I need you to stop demanding certainty from a world that cannot provide it. I need you to come back to me, not with polished prayers or confident declarations, but with honesty. Tell me you are tired. Tell me you are afraid. Tell me you do not know what to do next. I am not impressed by your composure. I am moved by your sincerity. Worship is not performance. It is alignment. When you turn your attention toward me, something shifts within you. When you choose gratitude instead of anxiety, when you choose prayer instead of rumination, when you choose trust instead of control, you place yourself where my peace can reach you. You do not need long words. You need openness. You do not need perfect faith. You need willingness. Even the smallest turning of your heart toward me matters. You have tried to figure everything out because you fear making mistakes. But I am not fragile. I am not threatened by your missteps. I am able to guide you even when your path is imperfect. Obedience is not about flawless execution. It is about direction. If you walk toward me, I will adjust your steps. If you stay close, I will correct you gently. But if you insist on running ahead alone, you will continue to stumble under the weight of self-reliance. Stop searching everywhere except in me. Stop asking the world to give you what only I can provide. Stop expecting people to carry burdens they were never designed to hold. You were created to draw life from me, not from constant effort. When you return to me, not out of desperation but out of trust, you will begin to notice something changing within you. The problem may still exist, but it will no longer dominate you. The uncertainty may remain, but it will no longer paralyze you. Peace does not require the absence of trouble. It requires the presence of trust. Come back to me now, not later, not once you feel worthy, not once you feel confident. Come as you are, tired and uncertain and honest. Let me carry what you were never meant to carry. Let me lead where you have been forcing. Let me give you rest that does not depend on outcomes. When you stop searching everywhere else, you will finally recognize that I have been here all along, waiting for you to look up. Listen to me with a quiet heart now, because what I am about to say is meant to settle you, not stir you. You have lived long enough to know that life does not always resolve itself neatly. You have seen beginnings that did not turn into what you hoped, and endings that arrived without closure. And because of this, you have come to believe that peace is something fragile, something temporary, something reserved for moments rather than seasons. But I tell you now, with certainty and love, this season of your life is not meant to be frantic. It is meant to be peaceful. You have mistaken peace for the absence of problems. You have believed that peace will come once everything is fixed, once every loose end is tied, once every fear is addressed. That belief has kept peace just out of reach, always postponed, always dependent on circumstances. But peace is not a reward for solving life. Peace is a gift I give when you stop demanding control. It is not loud. It is not rushed. It is deep, steady, and resilient. And it is what I am preparing you for now. This stage of your life is not about proving anything. You have already lived through enough to release that burden. You no longer need to impress, to compete, to rush, or to strive. The world may still value speed and visibility, but I value depth and faithfulness. I am inviting you into a slower rhythm, one where your worth is not measured by productivity, but by presence. A rhythm where your days are not consumed by anxiety about tomorrow, but grounded in trust for today. You may feel that time is slipping away, that opportunities have passed, that your best years are behind you. That is not how I see your life. I do not measure time the way you do. I see purpose where you see limitation. I see influence where you see obscurity. I see growth where you see decline. Some of the most meaningful work I do in a person's life happens quietly, late, and slowly. This is not a season of loss. It is a season of refinement. Peace does not mean you will never feel sorrow again. It does not mean you will never face difficulty. It means you will no longer be ruled by fear. It means uncertainty will not dominate your thoughts. It means you will learn how to rest even when answers are incomplete. It means you will trust me enough to let go of the constant need to prepare for the worst. Peace is learning to breathe again without bracing yourself for impact. I am teaching you how to live with open hands. For much of your life, you held tightly onto people, onto plans, onto expectations. When those things slipped away, the pain taught you to grip even harder. But clenched hands cannot receive. In this season, I am gently loosening your grip, not to take things from you, but to give you something better. When you release what you cannot control, you make room for what I want to place in your life. You will notice that your desires are changing. What once seemed urgent no longer feels necessary. What once excited you now feels exhausting. This is not loss of passion. It is clarity. You are learning what truly matters. You are learning to value peace over approval, meaning over busyness, connection over noise. These shifts are not signs of decline. They are signs of wisdom. They are signs that your soul is aligning with what it was always meant to seek. I am also teaching you how to pray differently. Not with desperation, not with frantic bargaining, but with trust. Prayer in this season becomes quieter, simpler, more honest. You will find yourself speaking less and listening more. You will begin to recognize my presence not only in moments of crisis, but in ordinary days, in the morning light, in familiar routines, in small mercies that once went unnoticed. Peace grows when you learn to see me in the everyday. There will be days when memories resurface, when regret whispers, when grief returns unexpectedly. Do not be afraid of those moments. They do not undo your progress. They are part of being human. But you will notice something new. Those moments will no longer define you. They will pass through you without consuming you. You will feel them, acknowledge them, and release them. That is peace at work within you. You may still face unanswered questions. Some things may never be fully explained. But peace does not require explanation. It requires trust in my character. You have walked long enough with me to know that I am faithful, even when the path is unclear. You have survived things you once thought would break you. You have endured seasons you never imagined you could endure. Let that knowledge steady you now. The same grace that carried you then is carrying you now. I am preparing you for a peace that is not fragile, not dependent on health, finances, or the behavior of others. A peace that remains even when circumstances shift. A peace that allows you to sleep at night without rehearsing fears. A peace that allows you to wake up without dread. A peace that does not demand perfection from you, only trust. This peace will guard your heart and steady your mind. In this season, your role is not to rush ahead. It is to remain close. Stay connected to me. Speak with me honestly. Sit with me quietly. Let my presence become familiar again. Let trust replace tension. Let gratitude soften what anxiety has hardened. You do not need to force peace. You need to allow it. I am already doing the work. Your life is not winding down. It is settling into something deeper, something calmer, something truer. The noise is fading so you can hear me more clearly. The pace is slowing so you can walk with me more closely. This is not an ending. It is a fulfillment. And as you step into this peace, you will realize that I have been leading you here all along. Rest now. Trust me. This season is exactly where you are meant to be.